Initiating match. Ready for battle. Five, four, three, two, one. Round one. Capture the objective.
Go into your OBS settings.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about those technical difficulties, but we are live bringing you the minors matchup between Licorice Whip and TBA, and boy, is it off to an interesting start. We're going to see our res coming up on Sarah DG, so that front line for Licorice Whip is going to be very strong here. TBA is going to grab control of that point first, but it's going to be a lot of chaos now as Sarah DG is going to go down, which means that we're not going to have that shield up for Licorice Whip to protect them. I expect that they're going to kind of back out here.
It seems like the Pharmacy on the side of TBA has kind of done its job and counted goats on Licorice Whip.
I think we might be a little bit backwards here. So it's going to be Licorice Whip in the blue side and TBA on the red.
Whoops.
And TBA is going to continue to get picks here. But that's going to be a huge Earth Shatter and a Nano and wow, that Bionade on
boy.
top of it. Holy cow. What do you think of that Deadeye? You think that was overkill there?
Yeah, I think it was a little overkill. I mean, we had the Shatter from Sarah DG and then the Deadeye combo, but I think we would have won that anyways because Kittens Please hit a huge ante into the middle of them and they were dead already.
They were dead upon walking. We'll see whether or not Licorice Whip can maintain control of the point right now as TBA is going to move in with that rally. Going to give them a little bit of extra shield, but another Earth Shatter from Sarah DG. That was so fast to be able to charge up. Going to lose their life there, though, in exchange for Nihao Brian, but it looks like we're going to see Pearl able to bring them back into the fight here. An unfortunate death to the bomb, though, might turn this in favor of TBA, and I think they're going to be able to catch this point.
Yeah, that graph combo with the bomb was, it took out their main support, and that just kind of enabled them to push on the point and kill the Mercy as well.
Yeah, once that Mercy's out of the fight, it is really difficult sometimes to be able to keep everybody alive, especially when you do have the kind of long-range damage coming out here. But what do you expect Licorice Whip's going to need to do to be able to get back into this?
I think they're going to need to build up Grav and Far ult relatively fast. They have the Noon, they have the Shatter, so they have that combo again. On the side of TBA, they have no defensive ults yet, so I think we could see a Shattered Noon combo.
Ooh, and that's going to be exactly what we see here. It's going to be DPS paired with the Earth Shatter again from Sarah DG, and I think this is going to be a clean take from Licorice Whip yet again to bring them back in control at this point.
Yes, Farah came along the top left side, get the Shatter, get the Barrage, and everyone just dies. You know, it worked out well.
I think that's the beauty of this composition as well, is that the long-range DPS really makes TBA make a choice. Are they going to focus on the Pharah, or are they going to focus on the front line? And it looks like they're going to be focusing on the front line here as those Reinhardts go in to battle it out. But Spark's getting ready for a high noon somewhere but Petticoat Pyro. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a massive Hungry Diva there. Going to eat all of that Deadeye to make sure that that's not going to be valued at all here. Another Earth Shatter, though, into the back line now of Licorice Whip is going to enable TBA to take out Sarah DG when they turn around. Going to be a last-ditch effort here from John Belushi to try to get them down, but that sound barrier coming online from TBA is going to make sure everybody stays alive to flip this point.
with that beat to keep everyone online, and as well as the rally, they were able to push on the point. Big eat onto that noon by Petticoat Pirate there, and just were able to push on with that.
You think that the team fight would have been a little bit different had that eat not happened?
Oh, 100%. I feel like the Nano Noon would have killed all of them, definitely.
Well, we're not going to be able to see that Nano Noon coming out because that's going to be a grab hitting everybody, and TBA is going to take this fight 100 to 86. But it's not over yet. We still have another map, and if if Licorice going to play that Pharmacy, do you think that's going to do a little bit better rolling into this next map of Lijiang, which is Night Market or Gardens, excuse me.
Yes, definitely. With the boot potential on the bridges and as well as kind of spamming through the windows here on point, I think it'll definitely be a lot better. Although we do see TBA coming onto the Pharmacy and dive here, so it could go either way.
All right. Well, we're going to see whether or not this Pharmacy is going to be able to match that of TBA's Pharmacy. It's actually going to be a little bit of a switch up here. We're going to not have a Mercy here on Licorice Whip, so I wonder how these support choices are going to matter in this matchup. And there's also going to be a dive coming out from TBA for the front line. So we'll see whether or not those supports can match up here and whether or not those tanks can too. But it looks like TBA is going to get the better of this first fight. A lot of support coming in for the DPS to be able to hit their shots, and it's going to be TBA taking this first point.
Yeah, we saw TBA's Pharah kind of push up directly above them to where they couldn't see the Pharah and just kind of wreaked havoc from there. And it seems like Licorice is going to switch on to the Ash to better counter the Pharmacy over the McCree. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, it's interesting choice because Bob can play as a 7th member when that ultimate comes online. But it does look like TBA has a really good stronghold here on this hard point. But I wonder how. Oh, but that boop, that's going to open up a lot here. Jonak of Gold going to get a nice boop onto Sin City, taking them out of this fight. And it's just going to be cleanup, I think, here for TBA.
Yeah, the boop out of the Lucio really secured them that fight there because you have the Mercy that's up in the air with the Pharah, trusting the heal the team, and he's gone. And you've got very little heals on point.
So once that Mercy goes down, you really don't have the support that you need. So Licorice Whip's going to be making a couple of swaps here. How do you think this Reaper is going to play now?
Reaper is definitely going to be a contender for countering the dive here, as long as he can take the right sight lines, avoid the Pharah, and kind of stay by the supports and wait for them to dive. It should work out pretty well with the Monkey and Diva kind of getting melted by the Reaper.
Oh, so it looks like it's going to be that Monkey that's going to hit the brunt of this force here. But Nihao Brian with a huge tack visor is going to be locking sights onto all of Licorice Whip here. And a team kill bell is going to bring us very close to last fight territory.
Yeah, that Monkey ult did a great job in kind of zoning Licorice Whip into the Soldier and Pharah ult.
Yeah, so that you think that it was the Pharah ult there that would really secured it for them, but what do they have now on the side of TBA to secure this second map of Lijiang?
Well, Licorice Whip definitely has the ult economy here. They just used Lucio ult, and they use both Lucio ults actually, so it's just kind of ult central on point here.
Ooh, it is going to be ult central. We've got a lot of things coming out from all of the back pockets here, but Spark with a massive Death Blossom might actually give Licorice Whip the opportunity that they need to be able to take this point back. It's just going to be a Lucio stalling it out, but yeah, this point's absolutely going to get flipped over, and with no time to spare.
Yeah, I feel like Jonak could have held that Lucio ult for a little bit longer, knowing that Licorice Whip had the ult online for Reaper, and without that defensive ult, Reaper could just do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, now they don't have that ultimate online this time around. So TBA is going to be playing a little bit on the back foot here. Going to be very important for them to try to find an opening pick, but that's not going to be very easy to do when Pearl's going to get the first blood here and send TBA back to spawn.
Yeah, it definitely seems like TBA is going to have the ultimate advantage here. They're charging their ults a lot faster. Fire ult almost online. Soldier ult's coming close. Monkey ult's coming close. And it seems like they could engage. They have 60% left, so it seems like they have all the time in the world to build up their ults and take it all at once.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not it's going to be a dry push here, but with that barrage online, they might have an itchy trigger finger to utilize it. We're going to see the tac visor come out first to see whether or not they can take out the counterparts in the sky and on the ground. It's going to really weaken Licorice Whip's forces here. It's going to force out the bombs here from Sarah DG on the wrecking ball, but just buying time for some of the reinforcements for Licorice Whip to come back. That sound barrier coming down to try to keep everybody up as long as possible to see whether or not this Beyblade can make it work. But it's not going to be nearly as effective as the last one that we just saw, which means that TBA is going to have a lot of momentum moving into the last 25% here. I think it's just stalls at this point. What can Licorice Whip do to stay in this?
Definitely seems like they just need to keep doing what they're doing. It's actually working. Coming in, they had a excess staggered on point and just, won the ult battle.
Oh, we'll see whether or not they can win the ult battle here. Sin City is going to get
I
Team
spoke
Nekkra,
soon.
just going to maybe spoke too soon there. Because I think we're going to see the last-ditch bomb coming out from Petticoat Pirate here to seal the deal. But look at this Lucio go. Pearl is just wall riding frantically to try to hold on to make this a 99-99 battle. But Nihao Brian with another tac visor. That might be the ultimate pressure that TBA needs to be able to seal this. It's still going to be respawns coming back and forth for Licorice Whip. And I think that's going to be all she wrote here as that overtime timer is gonna very quickly expire as TBA takes the point and the map.
Yep, I'm definitely my first experience of Caster's Curse there.
It happens a lot more often than you think.
Yeah, I think definitely what started that whole fight was TBA demecking Licorice Whip's Diva, which allowed Nihao Brian to just go crazy with the soldier ult and allowed them to just push on the point, and then from there it was just a lot of staggered. TBA definitely had the advantage there when it came to numbers, and it looked like that Licorice Whip was going to take it at first with those excess ults, but TBA came back in the end.
Yeah, so it seems like they just had a little bit of a better game plan moving into the stall portion of the fight, where it's very bitter end. You've got very little time left on the clock, and it's respawns coming back from either side. TBA just had the target focus there, I think.
Yeah, Licorice Whip definitely could have managed their ultimates better. More like, especially, the defensive ults when it came to Lucio and Zen. And TBA just kind of had the better ult usage and better combos, and that's what won them those 2 points.
So moving forward into the next map of the night for this series, do you think that the compositions that Licorice Whip were running on Lijiang are going to stay for Junkertown, or you expect a little bit of a swap up here? Because I feel like Junkertown is one of those maps where anything goes, especially the East Coast special.
Yeah, I think we can definitely expect a Farmercy on either side just based on what they've been running. We may see a pirate ship comp with Farmercy. That always works out well.
Mm-hmm.
And we may also, I mean, at least my team, we like to run defensive dive just for the, potential bastion on Junkertown. And I think that we could see, the Licorice Ship run that on defense because TBA, switched to dive kind of for the second map.
Yeah, maybe TBA wants to run those dive tanks a little bit more. Something that's important to talk about in this ELO is whether or not teams are going to play more of the meta compositions that we see for a map, so like what the pros are playing, or if they're going to go with more comfort picks. We don't usually see a whole lot of Reaper on Lijiang Tower unless it's on Control Center. So to me, it seems like we're seeing a lot of comfort picks happening for Licorice Whip and TBA.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of, okay, we have DPS, they're good at this, we're just going to run this, and we're not going to practice any, more comps than we have to.
Mm-hmm. It seems to happen a lot at this level, but it works in a lot of cases, and it seems to be working so far for TBA. But those were some close matchups on Lijiang, so it looked like Licorice Whip was only losing that map by a hair, and I think we're going to see a very interesting composition come out from them on the defense here in Junkertown.
Yeah, it does look like we have the Bastion. Hey, Ashton Torb, let's get it, dude.
Oh, Pause coming out here from Jonak of Gold. Looks like we might have a little bit of a player issue, I think, on the side of TBA. But Licorice Whip has the Junkrat and the McCree. So talk to me about how this is supposed to work as a team composition.
If TBA decides to run this Bastion comp here, then Junkrat and McCree are definitely gonna do a good job of spamming down the shields. You've got Zen for the Discord on the Bastion. You've got McCree for the stuns, and I definitely think like they're going to be countered if they keep on with the Bastion here.
You think so? Usually, when you're facing a bastion, you do like to. Yeah, the play seems to be to dive at it with the Diva defense matrix. So you think they're going to get punished by having a Zarya in that slot instead of a Diva? And would you expect them to change seeing that composition come out from TBA if they were to stay on it?
I mean, personally, I feel like this comp is runnable. You just have the Junkrat kind of in the back spamming the shield, and once the shield breaks, you just kind of can wreak havoc on the Bastion with the McCree, with the Zen, with the if it's Zarya's high charge. But I do think if it's not going to work out, they will probably end up swapping to some sort of dive composition or maybe a Pharmercy as well.
Maybe a pharmacy sounds good to me. I think that they're just going to need to be able to disrupt whatever gets set up on point. And that can be really difficult to do if you don't have the team coordination. But I believe in Licorice Whip. I believe in them taking some maps off of TBA. And we're ready to get back into this. That pause is over, and I think we're ready to go. So let's take a look at where Licorice Whip is setting up and whether or not TBA is just debating us on this team composition choice.
I do definitely think we're getting a little bit debated there. I would love to see the Bastion stay.
That would be great. Bastion's one of my favorite heroes because I think it's just fun to watch. No, it's not really fun to be on the receiving end of it, but we'll see whether or not it stays. It looks like it's going to.
Yep, does seem like they're coming out with the pirate ship comp with the Orisa Hog combo, so they've got a lot of synergy in between teams.
Yeah, TBA has a lot of synergy moving into this, but Siri with a nice fire strike is going to take down Sharp Shot to win on that Bastion. But of course, as quickly as they go down, they get right back up again with that resurrect from the Mercy. And now it's really just, what is this
Oh
position
my gosh,
here from
Jonah.
Jonak of Gold? Oh my gosh, that is, wow.
The
What
Orisa
do you
shield
have to
was
say about that?
the Orisa shield was broken, and it looked like the fight was going to be lost. But Jonak of Gold there over in the back top right just kind of wreaked havoc on their support line. The Ryan was kind of focused on just going to town with this hammer, and it seems like Jonak was able to just get all the picks.
Well, I mean, it was a little. Let's talk about that positioning a little bit on that Widowmaker. Really got up in front of the shield as well as soon as it came down. But the damage now coming up from Jonak of Gold is really opening up the door here for TBA to push this cart all the way forward. I mean, Licorice Whip can't even touch.
That's definitely what you want to see with this Bastion comp is you kind of want to go into them when they're low. You keep on the payload. You have constant pressure on the enemy team's shield, and just generally, give the Widow and Junkrat there a hard time.
Yeah, I like that. A lot of pressure now coming out from Sharp Shot to win on that Bastion onto Sarah DD's shield, and it is making it very difficult for Licorice Whip to even be able to touch this point. Now we see the cart from TBA approaching the halfway point on this entire map here, and we haven't really seen a good defense come out. It's going to be Sin City diving in to try to defense matrix all of that damage away here, but I don't think it's going to matter. It looks like it's going to be TBA continuing to slow roll this through the second point.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Licorice's course of action here should be to kind of poke from afar, wait until they have ultimates, and then just kind of throw everything at them. I mean, you've got the Tire and you've got the Shatter, which are all great ultimates to use against this comp. Especially the Tire, you just kind of stay on high ground, run the Tire, wait for it to get one or two picks, and then you just engage on that fight.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not John Belushi here on the Junkrat can really get into a position to be able to utilize it. But that's a huge stagger here onto Sin City. Not having that Diva, not having that defense matrix is going to make touching this point very difficult. But Sarah DG with a huge Earth Shatter from behind is going to open the door for that Tire to come in and wreck some face here. I think this is just going to be cleanup, but I think this is where Licorice Whip starts to stabilize.
There we go. Shatter Tire combo worked out. They uprooted the Bastion, and now what they want to do is they want to stay on cart. They want to make sure that that Bastion cannot set up at all, because that is the death of them right there. That is TBA's, or that is yeah, TBA's win condition, and it looks like TBA has made the fateful switch to goats. Anyways,
I think at this point in the map too, Bastion stops being so much of an asset to your team. So it makes a lot of sense that they're going to be changing over to this triple take, triple support comp. That nano boost onto Seri DG going to keep them alive in this fight to try to battle it out against Monorail on the other Reinhardt here for TBA. But with Nihao Brian going down so early, it's a lot of AoE getting out of the fight here. Diva Bomb going in, not going to pick up anything here, but it is going to create a lot of space for TBA to start pushing forward and try to punish Licorice Whip as they back up, and that's exactly what they're going to do here. Sharp shot to win on that Zarya, really high charge.
oh yeah, sharp shot to win definitely was the win condition. TBA definitely had the extra damage when it came to the high charge Zarya, and you know, with the Lucy, they were able to just speed in with the Ryan and the Zarya, kind of push Licorice Whip back, and they won the fight from there.
Ooh, but look at this May switch that we're seeing here from Licorice Whip. It's going to create a diversion to try to push that Diva Bomb into the back line of TBA, but that Transcendent's going to keep a lot of people alive here, and actually, Jonak of Gold's going to be able to take down that pesky shield on the side of Licorice Whip. It's going to mean that a lot of this damage from Sharp Shot to win is going to be able to find its mark. Pearl with a last-ditch effort to try to get Sarah DG alive, and it will cost them their life here, and I think this might be the last point. See whether or not anyone from Licorice Whip is going to be able to touch, but I think that's round over.
Licorice Whip running that goats comp definitely had the ultimate advantage. They're also able to have quicker engages and kind of, you know, take the enemy by surprise, and they kind of snowballed it from there with having the ult advantage.
So, what does you know? We haven't seen a whole lot of you know, maybe it's just Licorice Whip's play style that they're better on an attack, but they look so strong on the defense when they had control of one of those hard points on Lijiang. So what do you think that they need to do here? Do you expect that they might run the Bastion comp at TBA's defense or go with something that's a little bit more comfortable?
I feel like they're either going to run the Bastion comp or, like I said, Far Mercy. Far Mercy on attack is because you can, you know, there's a whole lot to flank. It's open air. You can kind of be a ground fire for a bit, come up behind them, boop them off a high ground. And regardless, it looks like they're going to be running the Bastion comp right back at TBA's goats.
Before we talk about that and cast or curse it, let's talk about what TBA is coming out of the spawn doors with. It's going to be a pretty familiar comp to what we just saw on that third point, isn't it?
Definitely will. They're running the goats, but I mean, Licorice Whip has definitely the more damage. They have the Mercy and the Bastion here, so they're gonna have pressure from all ends. And it looks like TBA is kind of setting up on a surprise attack for the first push.
Ooh, I like this flank here. This flank is pretty common on Rialto, where you get up in front of the spawn doors with this death ball style composition, but it doesn't look like they're. Yeah, I think they're absolutely going to surprise him here. It doesn't look like there has
They've been
any
spotted.
idea where they're coming from, but John Belushi on the Pharah with a really nice early pick, and that is going to enable Licorice Whip to do a lot here. Spark ended up getting into a really good position on the point. I think that TBA might have made a positional mistake there.
Yeah, John Belushi was going for that flank, or you know, kind of played hide and seek, spotted TBA, and we're just able to take them out from there with the air damage as well as the Bastion pressure on the payload.
Nice crossfire setup looks like from the DPS on the side of Licorice Whip. And now we see John Belushi at 50% to their Farah Barrage, which might really open the door here. But we're going to see whether or not we're going to have any sort of ultimates come online for this fight. But it looks like it's going to be an all-out brawl and a lot of trades going back and forth for Licorice Whip and TBA. But it seems to be a numbers advantage right now for TBA. A big stabilization here.
I really like that engage from TBA. They all grouped up. They amped out of that top spot, coming out of spawn, and just kind of steamrolled over the Bastion payload, or the Bastion on the payload took them by surprise, and they were able to just win with the, you know, sustain of goats and as well as the damage with the Zen Discord.
Yeah, that Zen Discord's been putting in a lot of work there from TBA, and it means that Monorail, following those, is going to have that Earthshatter online. We're going to see Kittens Please with a Moira Coalescence here to try to keep everybody alive in this small room, but it's going to be Jonak of Gold getting first blood here, and with that rally coming out and that Earthshatter going down, it is going to be a lot of blood, a lot of red in that kill feed here for TBA.
Both runs use Shatter. I think it was Serity that used got one down but died in the process, and then with that opening, Monorail on the TBA run was just able to have free reign and shatter and kill everyone on the side of Licorice Whip.
And Licorice Whip here, what do they have to do to be able to start moving through this defensive hold that TBA has put on this card?
They just switched to they switched off of Bastion, they switched to Zarya Rain, so I definitely think their win condition or the barrage combo with Sin City 3-2-3 on that Zarya and John Belushi on the Pharah.
Yeah, it looks like those ultimate combos are going to do a lot here, but look at the rotation here from TBA moving into the back line. It's going to force the Valkyrie out here from Licorice Whip's Pearl. And huge grab though, but not before Licorice Whip can take the point.
Licorice Whip definitely took them by surprise with switches, and with the superior damage of the Reaper with the pressure in the front line and then the Pharah above, they kind of just got battered by both with the crossfire, and then Licorice Whip was just able to push past them and cap the point.
That grab was a little bit unfortunate there, I think, from TBA. I think they would have liked to have that in order to combo with Petticoat Pirates Diva Bomb, but it's going to be Licorice continuing to push this point, and they're coming up on some ultimates here, pretty big ones.
Yeah, they are, but I think if TBA is going for a wild flank right now, I think if they're able to get off bomb combo, they can definitely win the fight. Right?
Yeah, let's see whether or not that bomb combo comes up.
It's going to be the bomb.
Ooh, it's not going to pick up too much, but that Earthshatter did enable TBA to pick up a lot of kills early on. Nice diversion there from that Diva Bomb. See whether or not this Pharah can get out alive.
Yeah, that was definitely a great flank by the side of TBA. They were able to take him by surprise. The Rhine was facing Shatter and fire away,
Yeah, fire away indeed, and it's going to be a lot of firing away here on Licorice Whip's side. They've got that Pharah Barrage and the Death Blossom. What would you expect them to pair with that Earthshatter here?
I definitely think they're either going to want to go for an Earthshatter combo with Expert on that Reaper. He's got the ultimate. They definitely have the ultimate advantage here. Or they may want to go for more of a Grav Pharah combo, although I do feel like Shatter Reaper is going to be a little more consistent because they don't have the risk of Shatter being eaten by the Diva Bomb or by the Diva Defense Matrix.
Ooh, it's just going to be a Death Blossom without anything here. That Grav coming out a little bit late, and Sin City is going to go down from that. Transcendence keeping everybody left alive on TBA to their fullest, but it's going to be I think Licorice Whip has this.
Yeah, Kittens Please on Ana really did a great job. It's enabled them to clean up the rest of the members of TBA and win the fight right there and then.
Yeah, I think that Nano Boost ended up enabling Sarah DG quite a bit there, and they still have the Earthshatter moving into this point. Maybe we'll see that Earthshatter Pharah Barrage here, but we do have some ultimates on the side of TBA as well to be able to stop this and stabilize.
TBA definitely has the ultimate advantage. They've got the Grav Diva combo, which always appears to work well if you can break the Rhine shield. But they got to be careful because, one of the best strats is Rhine is shattering while you're grabbed, and let's see what happens.
Ooh, there's going to be
there
a big
there's the bomb combo.
Oh, it is going to be a bomb combo and a huge ante onto TBA, but that bomb combo did its work there to be able to keep Licorice Whip into the ball that they needed, and yeah, it looks like it's back to the drawing board here for Licorice Whip.
Yeah, thankfully Licorice Whip hasn't. They didn't use. I don't think they used any ultimates there, so they've definitely got the. They've definitely still got the combo with Sarah DG having that Shatter and John Belushi having that Barrage. And if they can use Pharah to pressure Monorail's shield and then get the combo off, they'll definitely win the fight and push this payload.
Oh yeah, but it's gonna be a huge Earthshatter getting booped up into the air from Sarah DG, so it's not going to find its mark onto the members of TBA. It will allow Jonak of Gold to get that big sound barrier up, and Nihao Brian with the rally as well. That extra sustain gonna be exactly what TBA needs in order to maintain defensive hold of this point.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate boop. I think it was from Jonak of Gold there. Booped Sarah DG up into the air, which gave Monorail time to hold his shield and block the shatter, and then go ahead and counter shatter.
Yeah, and that counter shatter seemed to be exactly what TBA needed, but they used a lot of ultimates there. Now they really only have the Transcendence and a potential Diva Bomb at the end of this fight, but Licorice Whip is going to be coming in with quite a few DPS ultimates as well. See whether or not they can hit their mark here.
I definitely think Reaper and Far are going to be the win conditions. Kind of flank behind them, and you got stunned.
Oh, that's going to be an unfortunate stun onto Spark to stop the Death Blossom before it can even begin. But a follow-up barrage from John Belushi might open the way gates here for Licorice Whip to continue to move this point, but it's a lot of staggers. It's going to be numbers still in favor of TBA, and a very narrow escape there from Pearl with that Valkyrie online.
If Licorice Whip can group up now, they'll definitely have the advantage when it comes to the fight. You've got 3 down, so if they can push the point right now, it'll be a in favor of Licorice Whip, and they can win this fight easily.
Yeah, they are going to get back before at least the 6th member of TBA is going to get there, but Sarah DG just walking forward to get a huge Earth Shatter. Fortunately, nobody there to be able to follow up on that damage, but that bomb is going to take Pearl, that main support, out of the fight. A lot less sustain here from Licorice Whip online, and they're just meters short of being able to finish off this point. Oh, unlucky. Farah's not going to be able to touch.
Yeah, Sarah DG got killed during her shatter, which just enabled the Diva Bomb on the side of TBA to just, get their main support, and that's what won them the fight right then and there in the game as well.
It's really unfortunate because you're right. Once that main support goes down, that is a lot of healing that's offline for your team. And when it's kind of comes down to who can frag and who can outdo that support, that's really what the win condition here is for Overwatch.
I really, really like that engage during the play of the game with Monorail. They were able to, just kind of group up, rush the Bastion, have the Zen for Discord, and they were able to just overpower the Bastion. When you've got 6 people focusing on one Bastion, no amount of healing can negate that. And once you've got the Bastion down, Bastion is kind of the core part of that comp. So once you disable the Bastion, it's just free pickings for the rest of the people on the team.
TBA played that really well too when their Bastion went down on the 3rd point of their attack for Junkertown round 1. They switched up comp immediately, and we saw Licorice Whip wait just a minute there. But their Bastion comp went down earlier than what TBA's did. And do you think that had anything to do with how far Licorice Whip was able to get their payload?
Yeah, I do feel like TBA had that advantage because they knew what fights they needed to take and what fights not to take, and as well as switching their comp up early, they were able to counter the Bastion.
Yeah, well, we're not going to probably see too much more of Bastion tonight, as we are going to be moving into Eichenwalde. We're going to be moving into Volskaya as our 3rd map of the night. But before that, we'll be taking a really short break, and we'll be back before you know it with more of this matchup between Licorice Whip and TBA. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about the break there. We had a little bit of technical difficulties on the side of Licorice Whip for their communication, so they were taking a bit of a pause. But we're back. We're ready to call out more of this action for you, and it's going to be Volskaya Industries, the place that we travel to next. So, Noah, when you're looking at an assault map like Volskaya, what's the game plan for these teams to attack and defend?
So 2CP generally attacking and defending is at least kind of goat style, maybe substituting something in here and there. But generally, it's goats. You kind of want to just rush the point and then steamroll from there, snowball with the ults you've gained, and win them. So
Yeah.
I like to see when teams kind of rush the front and then wherever the enemy team is holding, the attacking team just goes the opposite way and then rushes on the point. I think that's a very viable strategy. And I definitely love to see Licorice Whip do that.
Yeah, Licorice Whip is going to need to, I think, work a little bit more together. Maybe enable Sarah DG a little bit more, because I feel like Sarah has been able to get very aggressive, but hasn't quite had the follow up necessary on some of those pushes. So, is that a communication thing? Is it a team comp thing? What do you think?
I feel like it's a little bit of both because you have the Rhine on the bottom and the Pharah and Mercy on the top. So right there, that's only three people who can possibly rush with the Rhine, support the Rhine, and then as well as sometimes we see Licorice with like some of their members overextend a bit without letting the other members. Kind of ends in a lost team fight where it would have been easily winnable. So I feel like if they can solve that problem with the Pharmercy and the the Rhine Lucio and all that, then they could get their win here.
All right, well, we'll see whether or not they can get that win for this map, and maybe a reverse sweep here coming out from Licorice Whip. But it is going to be a very frontline heavy battle here as we see these two Reinhardts face to face. But Nihao Brian getting up and personal with Sarah is going to lose their life for it, because Sarah doesn't want any of that Brigitte in their face. Going to quickly, though, turn the tables back on them as TBA takes out. It's just kind of a lot of back and forth here, but I think that opening from getting the Reinhardt down on the side of TBA is going to allow Spark to get a lot of head clicks here. It's going to be a very quick take here for Licorice Whip on this first point of Volskaya.
Yeah, we saw John Belushi kind of go behind the side of TBA and just kind of crossfire, shoot at them from behind, and they couldn't really do anything. They were so focused on Licorice Whip's Rhine and Zarya, as well as the Lucio, kind of providing pressure by them being faster, being able to hold down W faster, and they were able to just win the fight that way.
So it looks like they were able to take a lot of opportunity from the aggression coming out from Sarah DG. It opens up a lot of space here for both Spark and John Belushi to get in a lot of damage, but Sarah's going to go down without those bubbles online from Sin City. Still going to be some trades coming back and forth here, but I think it's going to be TBA all but taking this one for the defense.
Yeah, they definitely TBA definitely had an early. They were able to kind of rush TBA rush Licorice Whip at the choke and just kind of take them out with the 4v6, because you've got the Pharmercy in the air. So if you rush a Pharmercy comp like that as goats, there's not much they can do in terms of defending themselves and keeping each other up and alive.
Yeah, especially because the damage on a GOAT's composition like this comes from the Zarya player. And Sharpshot to Win has been high charged for a lot of this game so far. But Licorice Whip has a lot of resources online. It's going to be a Vera barrage into the Graviton that got thrown out there from Sin City, but it's going to be double support ults to keep TBA in this fight. Sound Barrier coming out just to try to keep everybody else on TBA alive, but the reverse Sound Barrier coming out from Licorice Whip in order to sustain here. They only have a couple more members of TBA to bite through, but it is going to be a long fight, especially because Monorail is going to come out with the Earth Shatter, and Sharpshot to Win's going to throw that grab right on top of it, and I think that's going to be a lot of ultimates used, but a lot of value to be able to hold this defense.
Yeah, it looked like Licorice Whip was gonna win the fight there. The damage boosted Pharah ult into the Grav, which out damages Trans, and that would have won them the fight. But it seemed that TBA with the superior ult economy after Licorice Whip burned all those ults was able to just take the fight back with the Grav combo and the Rhine just swinging into.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head on that one because TBA had to empty out a lot of resources here. It's going to be a little bit of an kind of a fight to see who's going to be able to get those ultimates online a little bit faster here in order for who's going to take this next one. But look at the positioning here from Licorice Whip as they move into this point B of Volskaya. John Belushi in the skies, getting ready for maybe another fair barrage here. We saw one just one fight before, so this is going to be really exciting to see whether or not this barrage is going to hit here. Sarah DG is going to be able to get a lot of momentum, taking out that diva suit, but that's going to cost them a lot of their lives too.
Yeah, I do feel like that Licorice Whip could benefit from the comp change here. Goats, because trying to run Far Mercy versus Goats, especially on second point 2 CP, which is generally very, very hard and actually cap and flank on. I feel like they benefit from a comp change here because you've got the sustain of Goats as well as they've got all the cover to fall back on, and they can engage when they want. Whereas Licorice Whip, they have to choose their engagements very carefully because they have the Far Mercy, and actually, as I speak, it looks like there's a flank going on by the side of Licorice Whip.
I think you're right. That's going to be a big flank here coming out from Licorice Whip, and a huge rally from TBA is going to try to keep everybody alive. But in the back line, we're going to see an Earth Shatter to get a lot of people down. John Belushi, though, with a nice barrage, not going to be holding it on along this one. But there's going to be a Transcendence coming out from TBA to keep everyone alive. And this is going to be another failed push from Licorice Whip.
Yeah, Sarah DG went for that shatter a little, and she died because of it. They were able to just focus her down. John Belushi would have gotten a pretty great, far ult, but she didn't get the damage boost that time, and that just enabled the Zen to keep his team alive inside of the Grav, and they just survived from there and were able to take the fight.
And now we still have ultimates online for TBA as well. So it looks like this defensive hold is going to be stronger yet. They've got the Earth Shatter. They have the Diva Bomb. And depending on how they utilize those ultimates, this might be a pretty clean fight for TBA as well. We're going to see a little bit of a comp change here. Kittens, please, going over to the Ana, who's been doing a lot of work with the Nano Boost as well. But that's a huge anti, but no follow-up for it. So this is still going to be a little bit of a difficult fight here for Licorice Whip, but I think that taking out that Diva suit is gonna do a lot here to open the door for John to get some good shots in here, and it's gonna be a lot of bullying off the point from TBA. Still a lot of back and forth here. That, of course, as I say that, I think this is gonna be the snowball that TBA needed.
Yeah, Pearl's res onto Sarah DG, but I feel like as they were kind of doing that, TBA was kind of just able to get back on the point, kind of reposition themselves, get grouped up again, just push as one and win the fight yet again.
I think you're right about them needing a little bit of a comp change, though, because Widowmaker doesn't provide a whole lot of point presence as a hero in general. So you really don't see them touching point, and I think that's what they need here. They need to have a little bit more frontline damage on the side of Licorice Whip.
Yeah, especially with the 3 tanks in the way in the Widow, it's not going to get much done. It does seem like, Licorice Whip, or I'm sorry, TBA definitely has the better ult economy with 6 ultimates online, so I do feel like they're going to win this fight again, but if Licorice Whip can hold on to their ultimates, kind of dry push this, then they may be able to take the point.
It looks like they're going to have to hold on to their ultimates here because that Grav Diva Bomb combo from TBA is all that they need to be able to seal this one. And they still have ultimates in their pocket. They still have the 2 defensive ultimates from the Lucio and the Zenyatta, as well as the Earth Shatter from Monorail.
Licorice Whip definitely now has the ultimate advantage, especially with the the Shatter Zarya ult and the Pharah combo as well. I feel like if they can make one good push here, they may be able to cap even before overtime, which would be great.
Yeah, this overtime, it's going to be pretty close to overtime here. 20 seconds left on the clock as Licorice Whip is making their final engagement onto point B of Volskaya as the attacking team. Sarah DD trying to get into Monorail's face right now, but is going to get stunned out of the Earth Shatter. Sound Barrier coming out just to be able to keep everything online, and a double support ultimate will ensure that John Belushi's Fair Barrage will not find anybody here. And I think this is cleanup now. Sarah DG coming back online from the res from Pearl, but this is all but defended here from TBA.
That was a really, really great stun from Nihao Brian on that when tried to definitely saved his team from that shatter.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a massive stun. And I think that Earthshatter would have been able to do a lot to be able to swing that team fight into Licorice Whip's favor. But now the sides are reversed. It will be Licorice Whip on the defending side and TBA up to bat for the offense.
I think we can definitely expect TBA to run, goats here. They ran it on defense and it worked out pretty well. Hopefully, Licorice Whip will kind of, rethink what they need to do, change their. And I mean, I feel like the Far Mercy would work a little bit better on, as the Pharah has the cover and the Mercy as well. But we'll have to see what they choose. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, 5 seconds before we see those team previews here from both sides. And Licorice Whip seems to have locked into a different composition. No Pharah, but yet an Ashe and a Junkrat.
Definitely seems like they're kind of going, a little bit of a stay still bunker comp there. You've got the long DPS, the long DPS of the Ashe and the Junkrat, as well as the Discord and the Rhine. So I feel like they're definitely going for a bit of sustain here. But we see TBA on that Pharah and Widow, so they're kind of running a similar comp to what Licorice Whip ran on attack, and we'll just have to see how it goes for either team.
We strike as one.
I got you covered. Healing blue.
Time to raise my APM. Get through this.
It's going to be a really even battle here. Unfortunately, that can out that damage mitigation that might open the door for TBA to continue to pump some damage into this team. But a quick tire from John Belushi might be able to turn this around. Sharp shot to win will be felled because of that tire, but it's going to be John Belushi trying to run away as quickly as they can here, as TBA ends up capping this first point almost as quickly as Licorice Whip.
Yeah, that kill on the Sarah DG definitely was not what. Now you're down your Rhine, so Goats basically has free reign against a team without a Rhine, and they were just kind of able to push, kind of surround Licorice Whip and kill them all, take the point.
Yeah, and they're going to have some ultimates to be able to run off of on this next attack here. But a Mage choice coming up from Licorice Whip is going to put up a huge wall to stop their momentum, trading out the taking out the tank here on the side of Licorice Whip. Might spell disaster though, and as quickly as Sarah DG goes down, that is going to be the map win and the set win for TBA.
It was very unfortunate with the death. And Monorail had Shatter from the previous fight and was just able to have free reign with the Shatter, clean up every kill, and it's a set win.
Yeah, that is going to be a set win, but we're still going to play 4 maps because this is Owlet, the baby Overwatch League, and we're going to be able to play all 4. So this might be an opportunity for Licorice Whip to come back, but to my understanding, we are seeing John Belushi play a role that they don't normally play. So they are a support main, and they're playing that projectile DPS. What do you think about that?
I mean, if they can run the Pharah and the Junkrat, that'd do pretty well. I mean, they're doing great for a support player. Not to haggle support players or anything, but I mean, I honestly thought that John Belushi was like a DPS main.
Yeah, I know. They've been playing that DPS really well, which is why I'm sitting here just a little bit shocked, because we saw very fast tires, very fast barrages, but a lot of that too is the enablement that came out of Licorice Whip and of the Mercy. So I feel like they've been doing a great job of playing to their players' strengths, but I just don't think this is the right meta for this team because triple tank, triple support is way too strong.
Yeah, I definitely feel like if they had a little more coordination with that Far Mercy, definitely be a great contender to TBA's goats. We saw them run the Mei, for the last little bit of point B. If they run the Mei and the Far Mercy, they can definitely counter TBA on goats. Just they're kind of Mei, especially on Eichenwalde where you have that small little choke to get through. If they just run the Mei, wall off the bridge, and pick off the Rhine every time, then they could be able to fold.
I hope that they're able to get that online and working. I think that it's just they're warming up. I can tell that they're warming up and that they're still kind of getting comfortable with each other a little bit because maybe they haven't played with John Belushi in this role before. So, maybe this is going to be a little bit better on Eichenwalde. I'm excited to see it.
Why are they running John Belushi on the DPS role?
I
Are they
don't know.
down a player?
Maybe they might be. I know we've been having a little bit of trouble with that in Owlet trying to get teams to be able to have 6 to play their matches. But I gotta say that this has been a pretty great series so far. But yeah, we're gonna see whether or not they can make something happen on Eichenwalde. I can't wait.
Initiating match.
I do indeed hope that they will be able to take a map off of TBA. That'd be great. They're on defense first, so I would love to see them run that Mei Far Mercy comp, and because we know that TBA is almost sure to run goats here on the attack. So if they run the Mei Far Mercy, they'd be able to definitely counter them, and just kind of stop them in their tracks, wall them off at the choke, and take the win.
Yeah, I want to see them take a map off of TBA. That would be very exciting. But look at this composition that we're seeing here from... Oh, they're still deciding. What do you think they're going to go with? We're seeing the Sombra pick from Licorice Whip. Do you think they're going to stay with that? Do you think they're just having fun here?
Are they staying on the Sombra?
I wonder.
It looks like they are.
Oh,
I mean, Sombra's also a great contender in countering. Well, I'm not sure what it's hard to say. Seeing what TBA is looking like, they want to go. Yep, they're going goats. So Sombra is definitely good with countering goats. You can hack the Rhine and just kind of push him. And it looks like we have a pause.
Yeah, it looks like Kittens Please has not selected, so they might have needed some extra time here. But this is going to be another pause here coming up from Licorice Whip. But I like that. Let's continue forward with this train of thought because you're right. Sombra can do a lot with her EMP to shut down whole teams if they are able to get everybody in. So talk me through how they're going to have to play with this Sombra in order to make it work.
Well, I definitely do feel like that Sombra can... If Sombra stays on top of that bridge that we see right now, the bridge above the choke, stays up there, hacks the Rhine, and then everyone pushes the Rhine. You've got the damage of the Junkrat, you've got the anti. There's nothing to defend from the anti except for the Diva defense matrix, but that's on a 2-second cooldown. So if you wait for the defense matrix, hack the Rhine, get a big nade off, that'll definitely enable you to wipe the entire team of TBA.
So they're going to have to do ultimate combinations here, which seems to be the name of the game in this current meta of Overwatch, where you are comboing the EMP with a big Junkrat tire or a Diva bomb, or you are comboing the Earth Shatter with a high value DPS ultimate, something like that. But we are going to get unpaused here, so we will be getting to the action very shortly. And with no time to spare either, Kittens is going to have to make some sort of teleportation device in order to be able to get back to the team before TBA moves in. And look at what they're running.
Hey there.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, Sombra is behind them. That would be...
I'm out of here.
This would be Licorice Whip's opportunity to push them right then and there.
Ooh, and they're going to push in on this because it's a huge anti-nade coming out from Pearl. Oh my goodness, that is going to enable a lot here for Licorice Whip to be able to clean up. But there's still kills coming out from TBA. And unfortunately, because Kittens Please was out of the mix for so long, it did look like they were going to have to give up a little bit of space here on the side of Licorice Whip. They still got a high charge Zarya to battle out here. But I think they've been doing a pretty good job, and I think it's going to be Licorice Whip stabilizing here.
Yeah, it's like they were listening to us. Hack the Rhine, nade.
Ooh, Ryan and then kind of go ham, right? Ooh.
Huge tire.
You're covered.
Do you think they needed that there? Do you think that would have been better saved for something else? Like
I do think it would have been better saved if they had the opportunity to push the remaining 3 and just go for staggers rather than kill them all. But you know, it kind of showed dominance. Hey, we're better than you. Here's our tire in your face.
Oh yeah, I hate a little bit of dominance here, but this is what we want to see from Licorice Whip. We want to see all of these players just showing what they can really do here, and I think that they're finally hitting their stride. That huge anti onto Neha Bryan is going to remove all of the shielding that we would have expected from that rally as soon as that rally got popped. And Sarah DG just going in and getting very aggressive, gonna get punished for it, but that's okay when you've got a resurrection in your pocket.
Yeah, I think we saw Sarah DG a little. She was kind of split from her team on the right side, and TBA took that as an opportunity to push her, but then she got nanoed, was able to get a huge shatter off, and just kind of reverse swept them.
Yeah, this is going to be a really strong hold here from Licorice Whip. I think you were absolutely right about them maybe needing a little bit more of a funnel to play those DPS into, because it's working so beautifully here. And that EMP is going to be massive. Good, though, that Simple was able to stay out of the way, but that's not going to do a whole lot against a tire. Can definitely not out-heal the damage from that, and that's going to send all of TBA back to spawn as they wait for their main tank to come back online.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little bit unfortunate that Simple had built up trans already, but the tire was able to secure the kill off of onto TBA's Rhine, and when you lose your Rhine as goats, you generally just want to back up and wait to regroup.
Yeah, especially when your respawns are so close. It's going to mean that Monorail is going to come back into this fight very quickly. An offensive sound barrier here coming out just to ensure that TBA can get through that chokehold that they've been having so much trouble getting through. Kittens, please, going in for a resurrect, but is going to get taken out of the skies by Simple. Those wings getting clipped and the wind and the sails getting taken out of Licorice Whip. This is going to be TBA capping the first point and getting that payload on a roll.
Yeah, those 3 ults definitely enabled them to take the point. You had the sound barrier, which enabled to go ham into the middle of the flip, and you had the grab, which grouped them all together, and the Diva Bomb to secure any last kills, and then from that they were able to just clean up and win the fight easily.
That is going to be a pretty cleanup here, but that was a lot to utilize as well. They only have the Urge Shatter that's online at the moment, and it does look like they're going to have that rally up as well as they begin to move their forces into Licorice Whip's defense, but gotta watch out for Spark. They have that tire online, and they're going to try to hide here, maybe to try to get an initial pick on the back line, but as we see that main tank go down, that's going to open up a huge door for Monorail to be able to get a massive shatter and clean up again for TBA as this cart continues to roll into the castle doors.
That was definitely an unlucky death, just enabled Monorail to, you know, shatter everyone, kill them all. I do think what Licorice Whip can do right now is wait for the grab them all, and then tire, because trans is not going to do anything against a rip tire. If you get them all grouped up, get the tire off, then they can definitely see a hold here on the second point.
I think so as well. I think they're going to need to utilize his ultimates a little bit sooner here before that rally comes out from TBA. A massive anti, though, is going to do a lot in order to keep that shielding off of them. But Licorice Whip finally using some ultimates here. Spark going to cut a kill to be able to swing the numbers into Licorice Whip's favor. And when you've got that numbers advantage, it's going to be all but stabilized here for Licorice Whip.
Yep, did exactly what I told him to. Good job.
It's like they heard you or something.
Grav and Riptire was able to kill Neha Bryan, and then from that they were able to just clean up with the 5v6.
And what do they need to do here? What does Licorice Whip need to do to be able to hold this now? What's their game plan?
I think their win condition is definitely going to be the EMP Shatter. I think Sin City needs to kind of hide on that right there, EMP early, and it looks like TBA is actually going for flank right now. Sin City will recognize that, go for the EMP, and then just Shatter, win the fight that way.
Oh, I hope that they're able to see that before Spark gets taken out, though. A lot of damage being removed from the side of Licorice Whip in this. Oh, that's gonna be a lot of people from TBA. That's everybody that's in that EMP. But there are too many down on the side of Licorice Whip to be able to take advantage of that. So that's gonna be an unfortunate wasted EMP there from the side of Licorice Whip, and TBA is gonna hit the second point.
That was a very unlucky boop off the map. by the hands of Nihao Brian to Sarah DG. So coming into this third point, TBA definitely has the ultimate advantage. Got a 6 ult online, and hopefully they don't blow them all at once. I'd like to see, you know, a Grav Diva combo or a Diva combo Shatter and just win the fight that way, and then just use your ult payload. That would guarantee them a win here.
Oh, but that's going to be a Graviton used first on the side of TBA, and the bomb into the back is going to take out that main support line as well. So Licorice Whip down in numbers. That Dano boost coming out as a last-ditch effort to see whether or not this DPS Junkrat's able to take out enough members on TBA to be able to buy some time for the respawns from Licorice Whip to come out of the gates here. But TBA pushing up to the spawn doors to see whether or not they can keep them off of this point. But Sarah DG barely able to get there in order to try to stall it for a little bit, but TBA will push it all 3 points.
Yeah, if they hadn't booped Kitten Please on the Mercy, they could have contested, and then, you know, Junkrat given the opportunity to Riptire would have probably killed 2 or more there on the side of Licorice Whip, and might have been able to hold, but they had the Trans on the side of TBA as well as the Shatter, and they were just able to take the fight while a majority of Licorice Whip was still in spawn.
Yeah, at a certain point, it really does become kind of a time game whether or not the defending team is able to make it back for a last-second stall recontest. And it just didn't seem like the numbers were quite in Licorice Whip's favor, but they had a pretty formidable defense, and I think we saw a whole new team in some cases. But it's gonna be Licorice Whip's turn up to bat here. See whether or not they can make it in even more time than TBA.
Yeah, they're running that Sombra again, hopefully. I mean, if they do run the Widow, then the Widow can just kind of stay in the back and provide frontline pressure. I'm not sure if TBA is going to stick with this comp or not, but if they do, then I'm sure the Bastion can just kind of stay in the back and spam down a Sarah DG shield.
Oh, the Bastion seems a little bit cheesy here, but they do have that deployable Orisa shield. It's going to be really important for TBA to focus on their positioning, and we've seen them get punished a couple of times by that. So let's see whether or not Licorice Whip can kind of move past them, try to deal with this Bastion. And it looks like they're going to be starting out for the little bit of a Beyblade composition here on the side of Licorice Whip, hoping to get maybe a nano boosted Death Blossom in order to take out all of the forces on TBA. But it's going to be a puzzle and a challenge to see whether or not they can get past this Bastion.
Yeah, definitely the Sombra's a good choice here. Dive the Bastion as one. It looks like City got swept there. That was kind of unfortunate and taken out early.
Well, that was good aiming and good reactions here coming out from Simple, but it is going to mean that all of Licorice Whip's going to have to back off a little bit here. Kidsby's going for a very risky res, and is going to get punished for it here. This just seems to be a situation where Licorice Whip needs to take a step back there, take a deep breath, and get their regroup to be able to push in.
Yeah, that res was definitely not worth it. She did not make it, sadly. Definitely feel like the win condition here is they switch from Reaper to Junkrat, so I'm thinking EMP Riptire, they're all grouped up already behind the Orisa shield, so you just take one cohesive combo, you take the EMP, you take the Riptire on the side of X-Spark, and just decimate them all, and if they can do that, they can get that combo off, that'll definitely enable the point with relative ease.
Ooh, that would be great, but look at this random fire that is happening on the side of TBA into the backline to see whether or not they can sniff out Sin City. Able to get out just before they get taken out this time. But Kittens Please with an unfortunate demise as well. Going to fall again to Sharp Shot to win, and there's some pretty sharp shots here coming out from that Bastion. And Chonak of gold, too.
Yeah, I feel like Licorice Whip, what they need to do is they kind of... I mean, the only thing they really can do against this comp, switch to something that, you know, directly counters it, like a Farm Mercy, or kind of stay in the back and just poke until they have the ultimate advantage. And once they do that, that'll definitely enable them to cap the point and, you know, get off that combo I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, they're coming up on that combo too. We do at least have the Nano Boost on line. That Nano Boost is going to come out already onto Sarah. Make sure that they can get that Earth Shatter online. But as soon as that tank form, that is going to be an evolved Bastion that they have to deal with. But not before Nihao Brian takes an evolution of their own, and it's going to be a lot stronger than when we saw that tank form Bastion. It's going to take out everybody. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Sarah DG got a pretty great shatter. She kind of went past the shield where her team couldn't heal her, and her team didn't really push up. But, you know, everyone was kind of focused on the Nano Bash and disregarded Nihao Brian with the visor that just kind of cleaned up while everyone was focused down.
Gonna focus up quite a bit here, but we're Sin City's just trying to get somebody on TBA to turn around to create an opening, but as that's gonna be a lot of music being made here on the side of TBA. A couple of ultimates going to come online in the process from that damage boost here from those bongos, but Licorice Whip is still fighting to be able to try to move past the choke. They have taken a lot of time here, less than 45 seconds left to get something done.
X-Spark did get a pick there on Jonak with gold. Make use of that and push in before Jonak gets back from spawn, then they may be able to just, you know, take the fight that way with using minimal ults in a 5v6 situation.
Ooh, but that tire finally gonna come out here from Spark. Is it gonna find anybody? Oh, it ends up getting triggered before the EMP can. So all that it's really going to do is do enough damage to Monorail to take that deployable Arista shield out of the fight, which is gonna be huge though. Petticoat Pirate with a massive Diva Bomb and a lot more ultimates coming out from TBA on top in order to try to keep Licorice Whip from touching this point at all. Overtime getting procced though by Sarah DG, going to the wrecking ball, but it's still going to be a lot of forces here, and that tank form from Sharpshot is their last hope to try to keep everything off of the point, and that will be a full hold for TBA.
And TBA definitely spread out of the rip tire, and then from that they were able to just use your ult to a mercy play of the game.
Ooh.
This is not the end.
But like I said, they were able to use their superior ult advantage, you know, wipe the side of Licorice Whip before they had a chance to do anything about it.
Yeah, there was a lot of great team play, though, that we saw on both sides. I just don't think this is quite the meta that works for Licorice Whip here. So I think that's the only reason that I can really think of right now as to why they might have gotten bested by TBA in this instance. Just because that triple tank, triple support composition, otherwise known as GOATs, is just too prominent right now. And 2-2-2 doesn't seem to work super well against it.
I do definitely think that Licorice Whip needs to kind of broaden their horizons to new compositions. Maybe try out GOATs. GOATs versus GOATs is a much more formidable battle when it comes between two teams, and they definitely would have had a better chance if they had ran GOATs there on the attack.
I can respect their decision not to, though. Like, I gotta be honest, GOATs is not the most fun to run, especially when you do have your DPS players that are stuck in Brig Jail.
Oh yeah, that is me.
But... yeah, you could speak a lot to that one, can't you?
Yep, I sure can. It's not, I don't know, GOATs is kind of one of those comps where it's really boring if you're not doing well on it, but like if you've got the coordination, you've got the kind of get one pick, push them all the way back to spawn, coordination, using ult combos, it's actually pretty fun to play, rolling people.
Yeah, oh, I can definitely see that, but this was a great series between these two teams. Congratulations to TBA for that win, and congratulations to Licorice Whip for holding your own against this team. It is going to bring TBA up to, I believe, 14-3 now. So they have all but secured themselves a spot in the Owlet playoffs that will be happening in about a month or so. But stay tuned in the Owlet Discord. We're going to be dropping a whole lot of information about the playoffs this week. So stay tuned for that information. But I think that's all we've got. Anything else you want to add about this matchup, Noah?
I definitely think that Licorice Whip showed potential. They need to definitely work on comms a bit more. But that's not to say that TBA isn't, sole victors here. TBA, sometimes they'd over-ult a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, as well as Licorice Whip. So really, these two teams, TBA just had the advantage because they kind of ran go. They had the superior comp, Licorice Whip. If you can, get the goats comp working, then you guys definitely to win a few games.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning experience here for both of these teams, but I think that's going to be all that we have for you tonight. If you haven't already, go check out the other match that is happening on Massive Overwatch's Twitch page. It is Ghost Peppers versus CTA, and it's a pretty close one right now. Ghost Peppers up 2-1 versus Chinese Takeout Academy. So go check that out. It is Massive OW. And I hopefully maybe we can get you there from hosting the channel or something. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been Nekkra and Noah in off roles that we don't usually get a chance to cast in or cast at all. But we'll hopefully be doing a little bit more for you later on as Owlet continues to move forward to the playoffs.
Thank you guys. See you later.